In this first clip, you're going to see Ericka, who is a veteran entrepreneur, talk about her experience of going through the UpLevel Mind coaching process and how issues that she's had for over 4 decades simply resolve with the awareness of how they're contributing to her business right now. And in the follow-up clip, you'll get to see the detailed highlights of that conversation and where it went into her childhood and how those patterns affected her business. So enjoy this highlight from Ericka.
It feels like a cover. You know what that cover is? Where's that upper limit? That and what's kicking it off? I'm like, sacrificing so other people get what they need. So to have a moment to get what I need feels so glorious. Because truthfully, even when I've hired coaches, they always end up going, well, how do you do this? And how do you do, like, I'm like, can I get a coach that actually can coach me instead of me ending up coaching them? And I don't do it on purpose. It just always happens. And so it felt refreshing. It felt light. I love the directness. It also was confirmation because I've really been asking myself if I didn't put others first, because the truth is the demand isn't going to change. How I manage it, how I live with it is what I can control and what I can impact. And so I've been giving a lot of thought to that. And what does that need to look like to put me first and the way I'm wired and the things that I love, or as you say, what does it look like to create the playground for my business? That is an amazing inquiry. And so I'm left with lightness. I'm left with clarity. Like that aha, because it's when one is gifted to see in the blind spots, especially of people that know how to produce, we know how to create, we know, you know how to do that. That feels good because it feels like a gift returned because we're always giving that gift to other people.
What you just saw there was Ericka, in her own words, talking about the relief she felt after going through the UpLevel Mind coaching process, resolving a 40-year issue in 30 minutes. And the next section of this clip is really just the highlights of that full conversation, which you can check out in the links below. So enjoy this full detailed breakdown and recording of exactly how Ericka got to the relief that she was looking for.
So my biggest frustration is I create these amazing courses and then I haven't had the marketing bandwidth, either with the team member that I have been trying or with myself, to get it out to the people it needs. So it's like I've been building this. I mean, I literally have a treasure trove vault. I have created over 400 courses and trainings, but it's now, and I should say, it's now time to get it out in the world and just moving past whatever that is, to create the time to do what I need, what I know to do, and not sabotage. But yeah, being that best kept secret. And I just think one of the worst feelings, like you can do the courses and do all that, but if you don't get it in the hands of the people who need it, that disappointment. And so that space, it cannot be in my world anymore. I don't quite believe it's safe to put my work out the way I need to, or the way I really desire to.
Got it.
So that piece, I can feel it right here. Whoo! That piece of feeling like, and in the spirit realm, it feels like in the intuitive, it feels like I'm being clawed at. Like I want what's in you. I want what's in you.
So there's a very invasive energy to it.
It feels like that. Like yeah. And like yesterday, I'll just give you this example. At church, supposed to be at a table to really deal with all these people, and there's lines of people wanting to be prayed for because they're getting the result, they're having the breakthrough, they're doing that, and I'm like, okay, I want to go pray with the people, but I can't get to the door to get to it's profound, and it happens all the time, and it's just like the tip of the iceberg, the small little community who knows what's in me. And so yeah, there's some fear I'm carrying about putting it out there. And people, I'm telling you, they're kind of extreme responses.
In that case, and again, we'll dive deep into it. I just want to draw one point just to make sure that I'm hearing you correctly. It's like, this is happening now when I am quote unquote small or manageable. If I begin to expand towards the bigness of what I know I'm capable of and the vision that I see, like take these few instances of leeches and now multiply them out, like I'm going to disappear because everybody's going to take my energy. So Does that resonate with you?
It does.
Okay.
It
So
does.
is it kind of logical then to assume that like a lot of the fear is I don't want to handle this in small doses. I would hate my life if I had to handle it in big doses.
True.
Okay,
Because I'm built for the big stuff. I know that I'm built for the deep. I'm built for the masses. Yeah.
perfect. So where else in your life have people leached off of your energy?
So definitely in the process of raising my daughter as a single mom, and she was a child that I used to say, God, I swear if she could connect herself to me, she would. So she was a very needy child like that, and also in the area of marriage, that has been that case too, where I'm somebody's, I call it being the ministry, but I'm being like more than just the encourager. They're actually pulling something off me, and so that's true. We just hit our 8th year of marriage because I was 44 when I got married, and it just stopped because he's owning his own stuff now. And so that's been the experience inside my house for 26 years.
Got it. Okay. So there's your daughter who not only has a biological need to connect with you deeply and to kind of be dependent on you, but there's times that you experience it as this is going beyond that. Like there's just like a neediness there. And then to the life partner that I also have who has that same pattern, but is like moving out of it. So that to you has like that same kind of taste to it as like the business and marketing equivalent in
Yeah,
terms
it
of
feels suffocating to me, and like I watch a lot of specials with, documentaries with people who have celebrity, and they all say the same thing: people want a piece of you. And that's how it's felt inside. So then where's my safe place if I don't have that inside, and now I'm supposed to put this out in the world more? um yeah, not having that safe place to, or really giving myself permission to do that, and not yet believing it can be safe, but absolutely.
because this has been an ongoing problem for years, right? Like this is not something that just happened today. So,
Oh, and
oh,
and truthfully, ever since I've been a student leader and an athlete, probably from the age of, probably really consciously, about 10. Yeah, so definitely, and I'm 51 now, so we're talking about a 41-year process.
so the question was, how do you have to keep showing up in order to enable these situations to continue to recur?
I'm going to is like feedback I get that, oh, Ericka, you're so strong. I love being around you. Uh, and I don't quite know I'm exploring how to answer that. Um, because I want to live in the overflow to have more than enough. And if I'm perceiving it as people kind of vampiring me, that means I have to show up and keep willing to be depleted. I have to show up and keep willing to put myself last after the business, after everybody has what they need. So I have to be willing to appear like that's okay. So you can just like come and suck the life out of me. There's more to, I'll be good. Like if they just always assume I'm okay, so there's more to take. And so that means that I'm showing up like I'm okay, there's more to take.
And how are you showing up like this at 10 years old?
I'm just going to say the first thing that comes to mind is then we would lose, because it was always in athletics at that time. Then we'll lose. We won't win.
So if and I'm using I now
Yeah,
as like I'm
yeah.
embodying you. So if I, as 10-year-old Ericka, don't show up burdening and taking on the responsibility of essentially the adults around me to hold the space for the team, make space for the emotions of the team. I'm assuming also manage the emotions and the burdens of the adults around you. If I don't do all of that, not only do I not have a place, but we collectively lose.
Yeah. I mean, literally, I was in the lineup in the place that the bases would be loaded, and my responsibility was to hit the grand slam to bring everybody home.
So you have carried a lot of value out of
Mm,
holding everything and everybody's stuff
whew.
since you were a child.
Yes. And saw my parents do the same thing.
Right. And you can correct me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong here, but the way I'm interpreting that is like there's an element of like service, and service is defined by me last, everybody else first. That's what makes us valuable. Was that accurate, or am I missing something there?
Well, how it runs in my head isn't so much me last, everybody else valuable. It's you do whatever it takes. And if it means sacrifice, self-sacrifice, that's fine too. You do
Okay.
whatever it takes.
So self-sacrifice
Yeah.
over and above me filling my own cup first so that I could give from a place of fullness. It's sacrifice, not even compromise, but sacrifice me for the sake of the collective good. That is the
Ooh,
way that I get ahead
that's good. That's
and be
it.
loved. Yeah.
I got to write that down. Okay. That's good. Sacrifice me. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
what if that all resonates? What I would invite you to go through now, if you're open to it,
Yeah.
is to connect to little Ericka
Mm.
and ask her, is this how she wants to live life? And if not, what does she need?
No, this is not how she wants to live life. And she wants to feel free. I want to just run around and do what I want to do and feel this sense of freedom, not like I have a responsibility for other people's stuff. And it's always collective people. But yeah, I want to feel free. I want to have more than enough instead of not enough for me. So whether that's time or whether that's sleep or whether that's sitting on the beach until I'm done, like just being able to do something until I'm done, just having what I call the more than enough. And just having a sense of freedom instead of feeling bound.
So I think that's beautifully articulated at what little Ericka wants. What does she actually need? In the moment that she's taking on all of these responsibilities, sacrificing her own freedom and wants for the sake of the collective, what does she need in that moment?
It's not about the people, it's that I'm supportable. How about that? You know what I mean? That I can receive support. I'm supportable.
That I'm worthy of support.
That's good.
That as a 10-year-old girl,
Mm.
I don't have to shoulder adult responsibilities while all I really want to do is run around, play, and enjoy. Realistically, you could argue have a childhood.
Yeah.
So what comes up in you when that's reflected back?
Mm. I mean, just like, yeah, that nails it. Because I'm seeing myself as that 10-year-old. There was always responsibility. There was always, whether it's in the house, outside the house, there's always responsibility. Just to, and what came up for me is what play looks like for me now. Like, what do I love to do? And it's, be in front of the camera, get the workout, just, touch the lives, but have it be in a way that I can still feel free. But yeah, this sense of relief was the first thing that came up, like, oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're always so focused on what do other people need, right? Like in terms of how we originally started this, it's like, okay, so how am I showing up to contribute to these leeches coming up? Well, you showing up as what do people need? I'm here to fill needs is the perfect energy to attract somebody who is like, I need to be fed something. Like I need somebody else's success because I can't tap into my own, right?
Ooh.
That is the perfect match
Yeah.
to somebody who gets their value, their love, their significance out of constantly sacrificing self for the good of the collective, right? So this fear of, if I'm going to step into my bigness and my wholeness, like it's not a matter of like, oh, it's going to be more work. It's a matter of I'm going to be drained to the point where I'm going to be miserable in my life, because all I'm going to do is turn up the volume on I need to help so that I can track more people who like, you need to help me.
Yeah. That's right.
right? So do you see how now this becomes much less of a marketing issue, which even in our short conversation together, I think you got more than enough know-how to know how to solve.
Yeah.
And it really becomes, the fear is much less of being scared of your bigness as much as it is actually being scared of being drained, right? Because
Mm.
there's only so many leeches you
Woo.
can take on before like I got nothing left, right? Like in
Mhm.
terms of how we originally started this, it's like, okay, so how am I showing up to contribute
Yeah.
to these leeches coming up?
Yeah.
Well, you showing up as what do people need? I'm here to fill needs is the perfect energy to attract somebody who is like, I need to be fed something. Like I need somebody else's success because I can't tap into my own, right?
Woo.
That is the perfect match
Yeah.
to somebody who gets their value, their love, their significance out of constantly sacrificing self for the good of the collective, right? So this
Woo.
fear of, if I'm going to step into my bigness
Yeah.
and my wholeness,
Yeah.
like it's not a matter of like, oh, it's going to be more work. It's a matter of I'm going to be drained to the point where I'm going to be miserable in my life, because all I'm going to do is turn up the volume on I need to help so that I can track more people who like, you need to help me.
Yeah. That's right.
Right. So do you see how now this becomes much less of a marketing issue, which even in our short conversation together, I think you got more than enough know-how to know how to solve.
Yeah.
And it really becomes, the fear is much less of being scared of your bigness as much as it is actually being scared of being drained. Right. Because
Mm.
there's only so many leeches you
Woo.
can take on before like I got nothing left.
Yeah. And
So
you know the other thing that's coming up, Drasco, is because I turned 50 and something happened. Like it's like, oh no, I'm speaking my mind. So I call it I got 50 and feisty, and I've been speaking up. And the perception that I'm getting back is that I'm being mean because I haven't had those boundaries. I've sacrificed to the point and just been like, well, I know how to tap into God. I'll just, you know what I mean? Like, I'll just tap into the source, and he'll keep, I call it Holy Spirit duct tape. He'll just keep me duct tape and keep me going. And so I've had boundaries, and really been processing out of joy. And it's fascinating that, and I don't do it mean. I'm not yelling. I'm not screaming. It's just like, no, that's not going to work for me right now. This is what I'm doing. And I set up an autoresponder on my phone that's like, hey, I'm cocooning right now. I'm just taking some me time. And it's been fascinating, especially the people that are closest to me. Like I'm thinking of my daughter. Well, Mama, you're being mean. You've gotten mean. And I'm like, really? Like I'm not a yeller, I'm not a screamer, but because I have a boundary. And so then I'm finding that I'm getting that yeah, it's fascinating, So anyway, that's definitely that came up for me too.
100%. I think that makes
Yeah.
perfect sense because like we train people how to treat us. I've spent a lifetime training people that I'm available at your beck and call. I will sacrifice myself to accommodate you. I've trained people to expect that. You
Yeah.
break people's expectation, their initial gut reaction isn't, oh, wait, what am I bringing to the situation? It's, you are now denying me the thing that I expected.
Yeah.
Therefore, this relationship is now strained because you're not giving me what I'm used to you giving me. And I say that with love for the other individual
Yeah.
because ultimately, like, it is their realization and your communication with them that makes the relationship evolve. But as far as what you're contributing to it, of course it's going to be mean, right? And if I've
Mm-hmm.
spent all of my life being this way and
Yeah.
now I'm not, that's a shock, right?
Yeah.
And that perfectly makes sense to me given everything that you've said.
Got it.
So anything else that comes up for you as far as that piece is concerned?
Mm-mm. I'm just thinking about, in right in now, Ericka, not the 10-year-old, what does running around doing what I love, feeling free look like? And just I'm excited about that.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, there's obviously a lot of areas we can go into that, like
Yeah.
healing the other ripple effects of like what it's like growing up. Because I mean, that's a very explicit memory as far as like being 10 years old, but like you started from 0 to 10 growing up developing these patterns. So there's definitely going to be ripple effects of things to heal. And I think you made a good point of like, how do I then integrate that into adult me with the adult capacities that I have, with the adult realizations that I had, with the adult resources that I have? What does that look like to create a playground in terms of business, right? I think that's the most interesting question for you, because the more you begin to heal the relationship with little Ericka, who lost
Yeah.
this part of her childhood because of responsibility, how do you then replicate that into creating a playful business that allows that joy, that, you know, innocence, that playfulness to then show up in the business? I think that's when you get to walk the healing that you're going to do on the inner child aspect.
That's good. I love that.
So it's a beautiful spot to be in.
Woo!
All right.
No, I actually feel like a loosening, like there were some binds that released. So no, that's what I needed today.
Beautiful.
No, that's great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for, you know, the bravery and the vulnerability to show up in that way and connect with that vulnerable part of you. So if you can then just kind of close us off and in your own words share, you know, what was your experience like coming into here?
So I didn't know until about 45 minutes before we were coming on that we were doing this. And that was exciting because I thought I want to identify what that, it feels like a cover, you know, what that cover is. Where's that upper limit, that, and what's kicking it off? And so that was something good because I was just walking someone else through that this morning. And so that's good because I'm like, you know, sacrificing so other people get what they need. So to have a moment to get what I need feels so glorious. Because truthfully, even when I've hired coaches, they always end up going, well, how do you do this? And how do you do, like, I'm like, can I get a coach that actually can coach me instead of me ending up coaching them? And I don't do it on purpose. It just always happens. And so it felt refreshing. It felt light. I love the directness because I'm just ready to walk this, to create this playground. It also was confirmation because I've really been asking myself if I didn't put others first, because the truth is the demand isn't going to change. How I manage it, how I live with it is what I can control and what I can impact. And so I've been giving a lot of thought to that. And what does that need to look like to put me first and the way I'm wired and the things that I love? Or as you say, what does it look like to create the playground for my business? That is an amazing inquiry. And so I'm left with lightness. I'm left with clarity, like that aha, because, it's when one is gifted to see in the blind spots, especially of people that know how to produce, we know how to create, we know, you know how to do that. That feels good because it feels like a gift returned because we're always giving that gift to other people.